I knew my wife was screwing her boss the moment I heard her laugh through our bedroom wall at 3 in the morning. Not the polite corporate laugh she used at dinner parties. The real one. The one she used to save for me. I pressed my ear against the drywall I'd installed myself 2 summers ago, listening to Marina giggle like a teenager while whispering into her phone. He has no clue, Bree. Sam's so busy with his little projects in the basement, he wouldn't notice if I brought Trevor home and did them on the kitchen counter. My stomach dropped through the floorboards. Trevor Sloan, her CEO, the guy who'd looked right through me at the company Christmas party like I was furniture. The pregnancy test was positive this morning, Marina continued, her voice dropping to that conspiratorial whisper women use when they're about to destroy someone's life. I'm not telling Sam yet. Need to figure out the timeline first. Timeline? Like she was scheduling a demolition. I slid down the wall and sat on our hardwood floor. The same floor I'd refinished by hand during our first year of marriage when we couldn't afford contractors. My hands shook as Marina kept talking, each word hammering nails into the coffin of our 8-year marriage. Trevor says he can handle Sam if things get messy. He's got that security guy, Keller, ex-cop. Sam's just a contractor. What's he going to do? What was I going to do? Excellent question. I'd built this house with my own 2 hands, rewired the electrical, replumbed the bathrooms, installed every piece of trim. Marina had picked out paint colors and posted Instagram photos of our renovation journey while I did the actual work. Her friends loved the rustic charm. They called it authentic. Authentic, like their fake friendship with my wife. I can't stay married to him much longer, Marina said. And I could picture her examining her manicured nails. It's embarrassing. Allie asked if Sam even owns a suit that fits properly. I looked down at my clothes, work jeans with paint stains, a Carhartt shirt that had seen better days, steel-toed boots that had walked through more job sites than Marina had walked through shopping malls. Trevor's penthouse is amazing. You should see the view in the shower. God, the things we do in that shower. I closed my eyes and tried not to picture my wife of 8 years naked in another man's bathroom while I was here fixing the leaky faucet in ours. The divorce will be easy, Marina continued. Sam's not smart enough to hide assets, and he trusts me completely. I've been managing our finances for years. She had been managing our finances. Every penny I earned from Riverside Construction went into our joint account. Marina paid all the bills, handled the investments, managed what she called our portfolio. I'd been proud of her financial skills. She had the college education I never got, the business sense I lacked. Turns out she also had the lying skills I'd never suspected. I'll keep the house. Obviously, it's worth almost $400,000 now with all the work Sam did. That should cover my share of Trevor's business venture. My house? The one I'd bought with my first real paycheck. The one where I'd carried Marina over the threshold 8 years ago while she laughed and called me her handsome caveman. The bedroom door opened and I heard Marina's feet on the stairs. I scrambled into the basement, grabbing a wrench and pretending to work on the water heater. My mind raced through everything I just heard. Pregnant? Not mine. Had to be Trevor's. We hadn't been intimate in months. Marina always had excuses. Too tired from work, too stressed about her promotion, too busy with her book club. Her book club? Jesus, how many lies had I swallowed? Marina appeared at the basement stairs in her silk robe, the expensive one I'd bought her for Christmas. Sam, what are you doing down there? Water heater making noise again? I said, my voice steadied despite the hurricane in my chest. Might need to replace the heating element. Can't it wait until morning? I have an early meeting with Trevor. Trevor. She said his name like it was perfectly normal. Like she wasn't planning to destroy my life and steal my house to fund her lover's business venture. Yeah, sure. I'll finish up. She disappeared upstairs, and I sat on my workbench, surrounded by the tools that had built our life together. Every hammer, every saw, every level had helped create something I thought was permanent. I'd been wrong about permanence before. Growing up in foster care teaches you that nothing lasts, but I thought Marina was different. I thought we were different. My phone buzzed. Text message from Eddie Hawkins, my buddy from the site. Beer tomorrow. Janet's making her famous wings. Eddie had been warning me about Marina for years, not directly. Eddie wasn't the type to meddle in other people's marriages, but little comments here and there. She sure spends a lot of time at those corporate events. Funny how she never talks about you at the company picnics. I dismissed Eddie as jealous. He was divorced, working construction, living in a trailer behind his sister's house. What did he know about successful marriages? Apparently more than I did. I texted back tomorrow family stuff. Family? What a joke. Marina was planning to flush our family down the drain and use the pieces to build a new life with Trevor Sloan. I spent the next hour in my basement running through scenarios in my head. Confront her directly. She'd just deny it. Hire a private investigator. With what money? Every dollar I earned went through Marina's financial management system. I was trapped in my own life. But I wasn't powerless. I'd built this house from nothing. I'd turned a foreclosure property into a home worth $400,000. I knew how to tear things down and build them back up. The question was whether I wanted to rebuild my marriage or build something else entirely. At 6 in the morning, Marina's alarm went off upstairs. I heard her shower running, heard her moving around the bedroom, getting ready for another day of lying to my face while planning my destruction. I made coffee in the kitchen we'd renovated together. Marina had picked out the granite countertops. I'd installed them, cutting each piece to fit perfectly around the sink I'd plumbed myself. Every inch of this house had my fingerprints on it. Marina came downstairs in her power suit, navy blue with a white blouse that probably cost more than I made in a week. She looked beautiful. She always looked beautiful. That was part of the problem. "Good morning, honey," she said, kissing my cheek like she hadn't been planning my financial ruin 12 hours earlier. "Sleep well like a baby." I said, "You great." Had the strangest dream, though. We were at some fancy resort drinking champagne on a beach. Sounds nice. Maybe we should plan a vacation. Marina paused, her coffee cup halfway to her lips. A vacation? Yeah. Get away for a while, reconnect. I watched her face carefully. "I know we've been distant lately, Sam. We can't afford." "Sure we can. You're always saying how well our investments are doing. And I just landed that big commercial job, the Henderson office building." That was true. Henderson Development had hired Riverside Construction for a 6-month project worth $200,000. The biggest contract I'd ever landed. Marina's expression shifted slightly. "The Henderson job started yesterday. Didn't I mention it?" "No, you didn't." She was thinking fast now. I could see the wheels turning behind her eyes. "How long will it take?" 6 months minimum. Maybe longer if they like our work. Henderson's got 3 more buildings planned for the same complex. Marina nodded slowly. "That's wonderful, honey. Really wonderful." She was calculating how much money would be flowing through our accounts over the next year. How much she could siphon off for her new life with Trevor. "I should get going," she said, grabbing her purse. "Big day today. Trevor's announcing some new initiatives. Tell Trevor I said hello." Marina froze. "What?" "Tell your boss I said hello. It's polite." "Oh, right. I'll do that." She kissed me goodbye and walked out to her Lexus, the car I'd worked 60-hour weeks to help pay for. As soon as she pulled out of the driveway, I called Eddie. "Change of plans," I said. "I need those wings tonight, and I need to talk." Eddie's house sat on 2 acres of scrubland outside town. A double-wide trailer surrounded by projects in various stages of completion. Cars, motorcycles, boats. Eddie was the kind of guy who could fix anything with duct tape and determination. "You look like hell," Eddie said, handing me a beer. "What's eating you?" I told him everything. The phone conversation, the pregnancy, the plan to steal my house and fund Trevor's business venture. Eddie listened without interrupting, occasionally nodding or shaking his head. "I knew it," he said finally. "I ducking knew it. That woman's been playing you for years, Sam. I feel like an idiot." "You're not an idiot. You're trusting. There's a difference." Eddie took a long pull from his beer. "Question is, what is she going to do about it?" "I don't know. I keep thinking I should confront her, but what's the point? She'll just lie." "Of course she will. Marina's been lying to you so long. She probably believes her own bullcrap." We sat in silence for a while, watching Eddie's dog chase rabbits across the yard. Finally, Eddie spoke up. "You know what your problem is, Sam? You're too nice. Always have been. Marina and her fancy friends, they see nice as weak. I'm not weak. I know that. You know that. But they don't. They think you're some dumb contractor who will take whatever scraps they throw you. So, what should I do? Start a fight I can't win?" Eddie grinned. "Who says you can't win? You know things they don't know. You got skills they don't got." "Like what?" "Like how to build things, and more importantly, how to tear them down." That night, I sat in my basement with a legal pad making lists. What did I know about Marina's affair? What could I prove? What did I know about Trevor Sloan and his business? I knew Marina's schedule. I knew her passwords. She'd never changed them since college. Still used variations of her sorority name. I knew where she went, who she talked to, what she cared about. I knew Trevor was expanding his security consulting business. Marina had mentioned it at dinner parties, bragging about her boss's success, military contracts, corporate consulting, personal protection services. I knew Trevor drove a Tesla Model S that cost more than most people made in 2 years. I knew Marina's friends Allie and Bree were gossips who loved drama as long as it wasn't their own. I knew Marina cared more about her image than anything else. Her Instagram account had 12,000 followers. She posted daily photos of her perfect life. Our house, her outfits, her meals at expensive restaurants. By midnight, I had a plan. Not a good plan. Maybe not even a legal plan, but a plan. The next morning, Marina left for work at her usual time. I waited 20 minutes, then drove to Trevor's building downtown. His company, Sloan Security Solutions, occupied the entire 15th floor of the Meridian Tower. I parked across the street and waited. At 11:30, Trevor's Tesla pulled into the executive parking garage. At 12:15, Marina's Lexus followed. Lunch date. How romantic. I drove home and used Marina's laptop to check her email. She'd left it open on the kitchen counter, probably assuming I was too stupid to snoop. Her password was Delta Gamma 2007, her sorority and graduation year. Jackpot. 3 months of emails between Marina and Trevor, discussing everything from business strategy to weekend plans and photos. Lots of photos I wished I'd never seen. But the real gold was in her messages with Bree and Allie. Marina had been complaining about me for months, sharing intimate details of our marriage, making jokes about my appearance and intelligence. Sam actually asked if we could take a vacation. Marina had written to Bree 2 days ago. Can you imagine? Where does he think we'd go, Walmart? Breeze responds. At least he's consistent. Remember when he showed up to your promotion dinner in work boots? I was so embarrassed. Trevor couldn't stop laughing. When are you going to tell him about the baby? After the divorce papers are filed. Let him do the math. Savage. I love it. I printed everything. 17 pages of my wife destroying me for her friend's entertainment while planning to steal my house and abandon our marriage. My hands shook as I read their casual cruelty. These weren't crimes of passion or moments of weakness. This was calculated, methodical destruction. I thought about Eddie's words. Nice is weak. Maybe it was time to stop being nice. That afternoon, I drove to downtown Boston and parked outside the Meridian Tower again. Marina and Trevor emerged at 4:30, walking to his Tesla with their arms around each other. They drove to his penthouse building in Back Bay, a glass tower that probably cost more per month than I made per year. I sat in my truck and watched them disappear into Trevor's $1 million life. While I tried to figure out what to do with mine, my phone rang. Marina, hey honey, I'm working late tonight. Don't wait up, another big project. Trevor's got us reviewing new client proposals. Might be an all-nighter. Sounds important. It is. This could really advance my career. I'm sure it could. After she hung up, I sat in my truck and laughed. Actually laughed out loud until tears ran down my face. Marina was probably already naked in Trevor's penthouse, doing things she hadn't done with me in years, while telling me she was working late on client proposals. The lies were so casual, so effortless. I wondered how long she'd been practicing. I drove home to my house that she planned to steal, and made dinner for one, frozen pizza and beer, while I figured out how to burn down my wife's perfect little world. The first strike came 3 days later. Marina's friend Allie worked at a PR firm downtown, always posting about her important clients and exclusive events. She drove a BMW that she was very proud of, always posting photos of it on social media with captions like, "Blessed and living my best life." Allie parked her BMW in the same spot every day, a premium space she paid extra for in her building's garage. The kind of spot where security cameras had blind angles if you knew where to look. I knew where to look. 20 years of construction work teaches you about building security, camera placement, access points. On Thursday morning, I followed Allie to work and watched her park. She spent 5 minutes checking her makeup in the rearview mirror before strutting into her building in heels that probably cost more than my monthly truck payment. At lunch, I returned with a bag of equipment and got to work. Nothing illegal, nothing that would hurt anyone. Just creative problem solving. Allie discovered my handiwork at 5:30 when she tried to start her car and found that someone had filled her gas tank with 30 lb of sugar and left a note on her windshield. Sweet dreams, Allie. Maybe next time you'll think twice before laughing at other people's marriages. The note wasn't signed, but I knew Allie would figure it out eventually. Marina called that night, furious. Sam, did you do something to Allie's car? What happened to Allie's car? Someone vandalized it. Sugar in the gas tank. The engine's completely destroyed. That's terrible. Who would do such a thing? She thinks it might have been you. Me. Why would I mess with Allie's car? I barely know the woman. She says you've been acting strange lately. I've been acting strange. Marina, when's the last time we had a real conversation? When's the last time you asked about my work, my day, my life? Marina was quiet for a moment. Sam, are you feeling okay? You seem paranoid. I'm fine. Just tired of being treated like I'm invisible. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Forget it. But I hadn't forgotten anything, and Allie's car was just the beginning. 2 days later, Marina's other friend, Bree, learned that someone had hacked her Instagram account and posted screenshots of her private messages, including several conversations where she called her boyfriend a boring accountant with a small Johnson and complained about having to fake orgasms. The posts stayed up for 6 hours before Instagram's security team could remove them, long enough for Bree's boyfriend and most of her followers to see them. Bree's relationship ended that afternoon. "Someone's targeting us," Marina told me over dinner. First Ally's car, now Bree's social media. It's not a coincidence. "Maybe you guys have made some enemies," I suggested. "You know how gossip spreads in your social circle?" Marina's eyes narrowed. "What do you know about gossip in my social circle?" "Nothing. Just saying. When people talk behind each other's backs, sometimes it comes back to bite them." "Are you implying that my friends deserved what happened?" "I'm not implying anything. I'm saying maybe someone got tired of being talked about." Marina stared at me across the dining room table I'd built with reclaimed wood from an old barn in Vermont. "Sam, do you have something you want to tell me?" "Like what?" "Like whether you've been reading my emails or listening to my phone calls. Why would I do that? Don't you trust me?" "Of course I trust you." But she didn't. I could see it in her eyes. The perfect little wife was starting to crack. That weekend, Marina went to Bree's house for what she called an emergency girls' weekend to help Bree through her breakup. She packed an overnight bag and kissed me goodbye like everything was normal. "I'll be back Sunday evening," she said. "There's leftover casserole in the fridge. Tell Bree I'm sorry about her boyfriend." "I will." After Marina left, I drove to the Meridian Tower and waited. Sure enough, Trevor's Tesla was in the executive garage all weekend. Marina wasn't at Bree's house providing emotional support. She was at Trevor's penthouse, probably celebrating their successful deception. On Sunday morning, I decided to visit Trevor's building. Not to cause trouble, just to see where my wife's new life was taking shape. The building had good security, but construction workers are invisible to most people. I threw on my work clothes, grabbed a clipboard and toolbox, and walked into the lobby like I belonged there. Maintenance call for the penthouse. I told the doorman. Water pressure issues. I wasn't notified. Emergency call. Building management wants it handled immediately. The doorman made a phone call and then shrugged and gave me access to the service elevator. Trevor's penthouse was everything Marina had described. Floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture that probably cost more than my truck. Kitchen appliances that belonged in a restaurant. I wasn't there to steal or destroy anything. I was there to understand who my wife was becoming. The bedroom had photos of Marina and Trevor at expensive restaurants, vacation spots, corporate events. They looked happy together, relaxed, like people who belonged in each other's lives. The bathroom had 2 toothbrushes, 2 sets of towels, 2 of everything. Marina had moved into Trevor's life so completely that she was already living there, part-time. I found pregnancy vitamins in the medicine cabinet, prenatal supplements with Marina's name on the prescription bottle. Dated 2 weeks ago, she was keeping the baby, Trevor's baby. In Trevor's home office, I found contracts for his business expansion, military training facilities, corporate security consulting, personal protection services, all funded by investor money, including a significant contribution from someone named M. Patterson. Marina's maiden name was Patterson. My wife was using our house as collateral to fund her lover's business expansion. She had already signed papers I'd never seen, committed assets I'd never approved. I took photos of everything with my phone, careful not to disturb anything. Then I left the same way I'd entered, invisible and unnoticed. Marina came home Sunday evening with stories about comforting Bree and helping her friend through a difficult time. She hugged me and thanked me for being understanding about her weekend away. "Bree's really struggling," Marina said, unpacking her overnight bag. "She feels so betrayed. Apparently, her boyfriend saw those Instagram posts and just exploded. Called her all kinds of names." "That's terrible." "What kind of names?" Marina hesitated. "Just cruel things about her being fake and dishonest. Imagine that. Being called fake and dishonest by someone who trusted you." Marina looked at me sharply. "Sam, why do you keep making these weird comments?" "What comments?" "Like you're angry about something but won't say what." "I'm not angry. I'm just thinking about trust lately. How important it is in relationships." "Trust is important." Marina agreed. "That's why honesty matters so much." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I nodded and helped her unpack her bag. The same bag she'd taken to Trevor's penthouse for a weekend of planning my destruction. That night, after Marina fell asleep, I sat in my basement and planned the next phase. Allie and Bree were just appetizers. Marina and Trevor were the main course, but I needed to be smart about it. Marina was getting suspicious, and Trevor had resources I couldn't match in a direct confrontation. I needed to use their arrogance against them. Lucky for me, they had plenty of arrogance to work with. The opportunity came Tuesday morning when Marina left her laptop open again, this time with her calendar displayed. She had a lunch meeting with Trevor, followed by an afternoon appointment labeled Doctor Confirmed Timeline. Timeline. There was that word again. I drove to Marina's doctor's office and waited in the parking lot. At 3:15, Marina and Trevor walked out together, holding hands and looking pleased with themselves. They got into Trevor's Tesla and drove toward downtown. I followed at a distance, staying far enough back to avoid detection. They parked at an expensive restaurant in the financial district and took a table by the window. From my truck, I could see them toasting with champagne glasses and laughing, celebrating their timeline, whatever that meant. I drove home and called the doctor's office, pretending to be concerned about my wife's appointment. Mrs. Patterson was here this afternoon. The receptionist confirmed 12-week checkup went perfectly. Everything's on schedule for the February due date. 12 weeks pregnant, due in February. I counted backward on my calendar. Marina got pregnant in November. We hadn't been intimate since October. The baby was definitely Trevor's. That evening, Marina came home glowing with excitement. She tried to hide. She made dinner and chattered about her day, carefully avoiding any mention of Trevor or doctors or pregnancy tests. "How was your day?" she asked, serving me spaghetti with marinara sauce from a jar. "Good. Henderson job's moving along. We broke ground on the foundation today." "That's nice." Marina wasn't really listening. She was somewhere else, probably thinking about her new life with Trevor and their baby. "Marina, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you ever think about having kids?" Marina dropped her fork. "Kids? Why are you asking about kids?" "Just curious. We've been married 8 years. Most couples our age have talked about it. We have talked about it. You said you weren't ready." "When did I say that?" "A few years ago. You said kids were expensive and we should wait until we were more established." I didn't remember that conversation, but didn't matter. Marina was deflecting, buying time to figure out how to handle this new development. "Maybe I'm more ready now," I said with the Henderson contract and business picking up. "Sam, having children is a huge decision. It's not something you just decide because work is going well. You're right, it would change everything." Marina relaxed slightly. "Exactly. Our whole life would be different. Different? How? Well, financially for one thing. Kids are incredibly expensive. Daycare, college funds, medical bills. We could afford it, could we? Do you know how much daycare costs, or private school or college tuition? We'd figure it out. People do. Marina shook her head. It's not that simple, Sam. Having children changes your priorities, your relationships, your career goals. Your career goals? I'm at a crucial point in my career. Trevor's been mentoring me, helping me develop new skills. Having a baby now would derail everything I've worked for. Trevor. She'd mentioned Trevor without thinking in the context of her career and her future. I didn't know Trevor was mentoring you. Marina's eyes widened slightly. Well, not mentoring exactly, just providing guidance. He's very supportive of his employees' professional development. That's nice of him. He's a good boss. I'm sure he is. We finished dinner in awkward silence. Marina kept glancing at me like she was trying to figure out what I was thinking. I made sure to keep my expression neutral, interested, but not suspicious. After dinner, I helped clean the dishes while Marina retreated to her laptop for what she called evening work emails. I knew she was really texting Trevor, probably telling him about our conversation and trying to figure out how to handle the situation if I became suspicious about her pregnancy. From the kitchen, I could hear her typing rapidly, pausing, then typing again. The sound of someone having an urgent conversation. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed next to my wife while she breathed peacefully beside me, her hand resting on her still flat stomach where Trevor's baby was growing. 8 years of marriage, 8 years of building a life together, thinking we were partners, thinking we shared the same dreams and goals. I'd been wrong about everything. The next morning, Marina announced she had to travel to New York for a client meeting. Overnight trip back Thursday evening. It's a big potential contract, she explained, packing her suitcase with clothes that looked more appropriate for a romantic getaway than a business meeting. Trevor wants me to handle the presentation personally. Trevor's not going with you. He'll meet me there. He's flying in from another meeting. Of course he was. After Marina left for the airport, I called Eddie. I need your help with something. I said, can you meet me at my place tonight? Sure. What's up? I'll explain when you get here. Bring your laptop and that phone your nephew gave you. Eddie's nephew, Tyler, was a computer science student at MIT, always talking about cybersecurity and digital privacy. Last Christmas, he'd given Eddie an untraceable phone and shown him how to use encrypted messaging apps. Tyler's phone. Sam, what are you planning? Nothing illegal, just some creative problem solving. Eddie arrived at 7 with beer and Chinese takeout. We ate in my kitchen while I explained what I discovered about Marina's pregnancy, her plans for our house, and her new life with Trevor. Jesus Christ, Eddie said. She's really going to take everything, everything I built, everything I worked for. She's going to use it to start over with another man. What do you want to do about it? I showed Eddie the photos I'd taken at Trevor's penthouse, the contracts and investment documents, the evidence that Marina was already living a double life. I want to give them what they deserve, I said. Both of them. Eddie studied the photos on my phone. This Trevor guy, he's got serious money. Military contracts, corporate security. The guy's building an empire. And Marina's helping finance it with your house. My house that I built with my own hands. Eddie nodded slowly. Okay, what's the plan? First, we make sure Marina and Trevor know their secrets aren't safe. Then, we start taking apart their perfect little world piece by piece. How? I pulled out Tyler's phone and opened the encrypted messaging app. We start by letting them know they're being watched. Over the next 2 hours, Eddie and I crafted a series of anonymous messages to Trevor's business phone and Marina's personal number. Nothing threatening, nothing illegal, just information. We know about the pregnancy. We know about the house. We know about February. We're watching. Simple messages sent from untraceable numbers at random intervals throughout the night. No demands, no threats. Just the unsettling knowledge that their private world wasn't as private as they thought. Marina called Thursday morning from New York, her voice tense. "Sam, have you been getting weird text messages?" "What kind of weird messages?" "Just random numbers sending cryptic texts. Maybe it's spam." "What did they say?" "Nothing important. Probably just scammers trying to get personal information. You should report it to the police. It's not that serious." Just annoying, but I could hear the worry in her voice. Marina was used to controlling information, managing her image, keeping her secrets safe. Random messages from unknown numbers threatened that control. "How's your business meeting going?" I asked. "Great, really great. Trevor's been very impressed with my presentation." "I'm sure he has." Marina returned from New York Thursday evening looking stressed and distracted. She barely spoke during dinner, constantly checking her phone and jumping every time it buzzed. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Fine, just work stuff." "The client meeting went well?" "Yes, very well. We landed the contract. That's great news. We should celebrate." Marina looked at me suspiciously. "Celebrate how?" "Dinner somewhere nice. Maybe that new steakhouse downtown." "I'm tired, Sam. Rain check." "Sure." After Marina went to bed, I sat in my basement and planned the next phase. The anonymous messages had rattled them, made them paranoid and defensive. Now it was time to escalate. Friday morning, Trevor's Tesla wouldn't start. Someone had disconnected his battery cables and left them neatly coiled on his windshield with another note. "Nice car. Be careful where you park it, or where you..." Trevor called building security, demanded to see surveillance footage, threatened to call the police. But the building's cameras had conveniently malfunctioned between midnight and 6 a.m., leaving no record of who had accessed the garage. Marina was furious when she called me that afternoon. "Someone's stalking us, Sam. This is getting serious. What happened now?" Trevor's car was vandalized just like Allies. Maybe Trevor has enemies. Isn't he in the security business? That seems like the kind of work that might make people angry. This isn't about Trevor's business. Someone knows about us. United States. She'd finally admitted there was an us with Trevor. "Knows what about you?" Marina was quiet for a long moment. "Nothing. Never mind." "Marina, if someone's threatening you, maybe we should go to the police." "No police. We can handle this ourselves." I can handle it. Trevor has security resources. Maybe Trevor's security resources aren't as good as he thinks. Marina hung up without saying goodbye. That weekend, Marina stayed home for the first time in weeks. She paced around our house like a caged animal, constantly checking her phone, looking out windows, jumping at every sound. "You seem nervous," I observed Saturday morning while reading the newspaper at our kitchen table. "I'm not nervous. I'm alert." "Alert to what?" "Nothing specific. Just being cautious about the anonymous messages." Marina stopped pacing. "How do you know about the messages?" "You mentioned them yesterday. Said someone was sending you weird texts." "Right. I forgot." But she hadn't forgotten. Marina was trying to figure out how much I knew, whether I was involved, how to protect her secrets without revealing them. Sunday night, While Marina was in the shower, her phone buzzed with a new message. I glanced at the screen and saw Trevor's name. Keller thinks we should take more serious action. Can't let this continue. Keller, Trevor's security guy, the ex-cop Eddie had mentioned. They were escalating from paranoia to action. I deleted the message before Marina could see it and put her phone back where I'd found it. Monday morning, I called in sick to the Henderson job and followed Marina to work. Instead of going to her office building, she drove to a different location, a warehouse complex on the outskirts of town. Trevor's Tesla was already in the parking lot, along with a black SUV I didn't recognize. I parked across the street and watched through binoculars as Marina, Trevor, and a third man, presumably Keller, stood outside the warehouse having what looked like a serious conversation. Keller was exactly what I'd expected. Tall, broad-shouldered, military-bearing, the kind of guy who'd been breaking people's problems with violence his entire adult life. They talked for 20 minutes, then got into their separate cars and drove away. Marina went to her office, Trevor to his building, Keller to a different part of town. I stayed and watched the warehouse. At noon, a delivery truck arrived and unloaded several boxes into the building. At 2 o'clock, Keller returned with another man, both carrying duffel bags. Trevor was setting up some kind of operation, probably surveillance or intimidation, maybe both. That evening, Marina came home late with a story about working overtime on the New York client proposal. Trevor wants everything perfect, she explained, heating up leftovers. This contract could really expand the business. His business or your career? Both. Trevor's promised me a senior partnership if this deal works out. Partnership in what? Marina realized she'd said too much in the company expansion. More responsibility, better salary. Congratulations. You must be excited. I am. It's everything I've worked for. Everything she'd worked for, including stealing my house to fund it. Tuesday morning, I discovered that someone had been watching our house. Fresh tire tracks in the mud behind our neighbor's fence. Cigarette butts that weren't mine. Footprints leading to a spot with a clear view of our bedroom window. Keller was conducting surveillance, probably trying to figure out my daily routine. When I left for work, how long I was gone, whether I had any security systems or weapons. I called Eddie. They're watching the house. Who's watching the house? Trevor's security guy found evidence this morning. Jesus, Sam, this is getting serious. Maybe we should back off. Number. They're trying to intimidate me, make me scared to act. That means we're getting close to something they don't want exposed. What if they're planning something worse than intimidation? Then we better move faster. That afternoon, I drove to the warehouse where I'd seen Marina, Trevor, and Keller meeting. The building was locked, but construction workers know how to access places that don't want to be accessed. Inside, I found a surveillance command center, computer monitors, camera equipment, listening devices, photos of me pinned to a bulletin board, along with my daily schedule, vehicle information, and notes about my movements. They weren't just watching me casually. This was professional-level surveillance, the kind law enforcement uses for serious criminal investigations. I took photos of everything, then got out before someone returned. Marina was already home when I arrived that evening, cooking dinner and humming to herself. She seemed relaxed for the first time in days. Good day, I asked. Excellent day. Trevor's very pleased with how everything is developing. The New York contract, among other things. Marina smiled secretively. Things are really coming together. She was right. Things were coming together. Just not the way she expected. After dinner, I retreated to my basement and called Eddie. I need you to do something for me. What now? Remember when Tyler showed you how to hack social media accounts? That was just for fun. Sam, Tyler was demonstrating security vulnerabilities. Can you do it for real? Probably. Why? Because it's time Marina learned what it feels like to have her private life exposed. Wednesday morning, while Marina was at work, Eddie came over with Tyler's laptop and some equipment I didn't recognize. "Tyler's going to kill me if he finds out about this," Eddie said, connecting cables and typing commands I didn't understand. "What exactly are you doing?" "Getting access to Marina's social media accounts, email, cloud storage, everything she thinks is private." "Is this legal?" "Probably not." "You sure you want to do this?" "I'm sure." It took Eddie 3 hours to break through Marina's security. When he finished, we had access to everything. Her Facebook, Instagram, email, photo storage, text messages. "Jesus Christ," Eddie said, scrolling through Marina's private messages. "She really hates you, doesn't she?" Marina's conversations with Bree and Allie were worse than I'd imagined. Months of complaints about my appearance, my intelligence, my social status. Jokes about my work clothes, my truck, my lack of college education. "Look at this one," Eddie said, pointing to a message from last week. "Sam actually thinks he's going to keep the house. He has no idea what's coming. Trevor says possession is 9/10 of the law, and I'm about to possess everything." Breeze responds, "What if he fights back?" "Marina, with what? He doesn't even know how to hire a lawyer." "By the time he figures out what happened, I'll be living in Trevor's penthouse, and he'll be living in a trailer park where he belongs." "That's cold," Eddie said. "Keep reading." Eddie scrolled through more messages, finding detailed discussions of Marina's pregnancy, her plans to file for divorce, her strategy for claiming the house, and liquidating our joint assets. "She's been planning this for months," Eddie said. "Look at this timeline she sent to Bree." Marina had created a detailed schedule for destroying my life. File for divorce in January, claim the house was marital property she'd helped finance, use her connections in HR to make sure I couldn't find steady work, force me to accept a settlement that would leave me with nothing. "And look at this," Eddie said, opening Marina's photo storage. Hundreds of photos from her relationship with Trevor. Intimate pictures, vacation photos, images of them in bed together at his penthouse, all time-stamped and geotagged, creating a clear record of how long the affair had been going on. "This is enough to destroy her in divorce court," Eddie said. "I'm not thinking about divorce court." "What are you thinking about?" "I'm thinking about public humiliation, complete social destruction." "Sam, that's playing with fire. These people have resources you don't have. They have money. I have something better. What's that? Nothing left to lose?" Eddie and I spent the rest of the afternoon going through Marina's digital life, downloading everything that might be useful. By evening, we had enough evidence to destroy both Marina and Trevor's reputations completely. "What's the plan?" Eddie asked. "Tomorrow night, Marina's company is having their annual holiday party. Big fancy event at the Meridian Tower. All her colleagues, Trevor's business partners, everyone who matters in their social circle. And they're all going to see exactly who Marina and Trevor really are." Thursday evening, I helped Marina get ready for her company party. She wore a black dress that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Diamond earrings I'd bought her for our anniversary. Makeup that took her 2 hours to apply. "You look beautiful," I said, and meant it. Marina was stunning when she wanted to be. "Thank you. I wish you were coming with me. Company policy, right? Spouses only at the summer picnic. Right, just boring work stuff anyway. Have fun. Say hello to Trevor for me." Marina kissed me goodbye and drove away in her Lexus, heading to what she thought would be a celebration of her professional success and personal triumph. She was half right. It would definitely be memorable. Eddie and I arrived at the Meridian Tower at Atiao, using the service entrance and wearing our work clothes to building security. We were just contractors doing routine maintenance. We took the service elevator to the 15th floor where Sloan Security Solutions was hosting their holiday party. Through the glass doors, I could see Marina laughing with Trevor and their colleagues, champagne in hand, celebrating their bright future. "You sure about this?" Eddie asked. "I'm sure." Eddie connected his laptop to the building's audio-visual system, while I accessed the party's projection equipment. In 5 minutes, we'd be able to broadcast anything we wanted to every screen in the room. "Ready," Eddie said. "Do it." The lights dimmed, and the main projection screen lit up with Marina's face. Not her professional headshot or a company photo. A private picture from her phone taken in Trevor's bed, wearing nothing but a smile and Trevor's business tie. The room went silent. Room. Then the photos started cycling. Marina and Trevor at expensive restaurants. Marina and Trevor on vacation in Europe. Marina and Trevor in compromising positions in locations I recognized as Trevor's penthouse. "What the hell is this?" someone shouted. The photos were replaced by text messages. Marina's conversations with Bree and Allie displayed in large font for everyone to read. "Sam's so pathetic. He actually thinks we're happily married. When are you going to tell him about the baby? After I get the house, let him figure out the math." Savage. I love it. The room erupted in chaos. People were pointing, gasping, taking photos with their phones. Marina stood frozen in the center of it all, her face white with shock. Trevor was shouting at building security, demanding they shut down the presentation. But Eddie had locked them out of the system. The show would continue until we decided to stop it. More messages appeared on screen. Marina complaining about my appearance, making jokes about my intelligence, planning my financial destruction. "That's Sam, her husband," someone said. "I met him at the summer picnic. Jesus, she's brutal. And she's pregnant with the boss's baby." The final screen showed Marina's detailed timeline for destroying my life, complete with dates and strategies for stealing the house and leaving me with nothing. "That's enough," Eddie said. "Not yet." The screen changed to show financial documents. Marina's investment in Trevor's business using our house as collateral, contracts I'd never seen, commitments made without my knowledge, assets pledged that didn't belong to her. "She's committing fraud," someone said, "using marital assets without spousal consent." Trevor knew about this. Trevor was pushing through the crowd, trying to reach the projection equipment. 2 security guards were following him, looking confused about whose orders to follow. "Now," I told Eddie, told the screen went black, then displayed a final message in white letters. Marina Patterson Hawthorne, adultery, fraud, theft. Trevor Sloan, accomplice. This concludes tonight's entertainment. Thank you for your attention. Eddie and I slipped out through the service exit, while chaos erupted behind us. By the time Trevor and security reached the projection room, we were already in the parking garage. "Holy crap," Eddie said as we drove away. "Did you see their faces?" I saw everything I needed to see. My phone started ringing immediately. Marina calling, texting, leaving voicemails that grew increasingly frantic. "Sam, where are you? Call me immediately. This is an emergency. Someone hacked the party. They showed private photos. My career is ruined. Please call me back." I turned off my phone and drove home to wait. Marina burst through our front door at 11:30, still wearing her party dress, but looking like she'd been through a hurricane. "Sam, thank God you're here. Someone attacked me tonight. Cyber criminals. They hacked my accounts and displayed private information at the company party." "That sounds terrible. What kind of private information?" Personal photos, text messages, things taken out of context. Photos of what? Marina hesitated. Just personal moments that should have stayed private. What kind of personal moments? It doesn't matter. What matters is someone violated my privacy and tried to destroy my reputation. Did they succeed? Marina's face crumpled. Everyone saw my colleagues, Trevor's business partners, potential clients. They saw things that were meant to be private. Things like what, Marina? Stop asking questions. This is serious. Someone's stalking us, trying to destroy our lives. Our lives? My life. Trevor's business. Everything we've worked for. Everything you've worked for using my house as collateral. Marina went completely still. What? The investment documents. The contracts you signed without telling me. Using our house to fund Trevor's business expansion. How do you know about that? The same way I know about the pregnancy, the affair, your plans to steal my house and destroy my life. Marina's shock turned to anger. You did this. You hacked my accounts. You ruined the party. I didn't ruin anything, Marina. I just showed people who you really are. You had no right. No right. You're stealing my house. You're pregnant with another man's baby. You've been planning to destroy my life for months. That house is half mine. I helped build our life together. You helped. You picked out paint colors while I did the actual work. You managed our money while I earned it. You lived in comfort while I broke my back building something you planned to steal. Marina was crying now, mascara running down her face. Sam, you don't understand. Trevor and I were in love. We're building something together. You're building it with my house. It's not just your house. I bought it with my money. I renovated it with my hands. I made every payment while you spent our income on clothes and lunches and vacations with your friends. I work too. I earn money too. You earn money that you immediately spend on yourself. When's the last time you paid a mortgage payment or a utility bill or groceries? Marina couldn't answer because she'd never paid for any of those things. I'd handled all the household expenses while she treated her salary as personal spending money. This is my house, Marina. You have no legal claim to it. We're married. Everything is joint property. Not everything, especially not property acquired before marriage and maintained with separate funds. Marina's eyes widened. You talked to a lawyer. I talked to several lawyers. Amazing what you learn when you start asking questions. You can't do this to me. I'm not doing anything to you. You did this to yourself. Marina pulled out her phone and started dialing. Trevor will handle this. He has resources. Trevor's dealing with his own problems right now. What problems? Check your social media. Marina opened her Instagram account and found that someone had posted the most compromising photos from the party presentation, along with screenshots of her text messages and a detailed explanation of her fare and financial fraud. The posts had been shared thousands of times in the past hour. You destroyed me, Marina whispered. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure everyone could see it. Marina spent the next hour making phone calls, trying to do damage control, but the story was already spreading beyond social media. Local news outlets had picked up the story. Business websites were reporting on Trevor's company and the scandal involving employee relationships and financial impropriety. My career's over, Marina said, slumping on her couch. You're young. You'll find something else. Where? Everyone in the industry will know about this. No one will hire me. Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to steal my house. I wasn't stealing it. I was investing it without my knowledge or consent. That's called theft. Marina looked around our living room like she was seeing it for the first time. This was my home too. was past tense. Sam, please. We can work this out. I made mistakes, but we can fix this. Fix what? Your affair, your pregnancy, your plans to destroy my life. The affair's over. I'll end things with Trevor. You're pregnant with his baby. We can figure something out. Like what? Marina was grasping for options that didn't exist. You could what? Pretend Trevor's baby is mine. Continue lying for the next 18 years. People do it, not me. Marina broke down completely, sobbing into her hands. I have nowhere to go. You have Trevor's penthouse. Trevor's not answering his phone. After tonight, I don't think he wants to see me. Turns out public humiliation is bad for business. Sam, please. I know I hurt you, but we can rebuild. We can start over. I don't want to start over with you, Marina. I want you gone. Gone where? That's not my problem. Marina looked at me with something approaching desperation. You're really going to throw away 8 years of marriage? You threw it away when you started sleeping with Trevor. I'm just acknowledging reality. What about forgiveness? What about working through problems together? What about honesty? What about loyalty? What about not stealing your husband's house to fund your lover's business? Marina had no answer for that. Friday morning, Marina packed her clothes and personal belongings while I watched from the kitchen. She moved slowly like she was hoping I'd change my mind and ask her to stay. I didn't. Where will you go? I asked. Hotel for now. Then I'll figure something out. What about Trevor? Trevor's lawyers contacted me this morning. They're advising him to maintain distance until the business situation stabilizes. Business situation? 3 major clients canceled their contracts yesterday. The Military Review Board is asking questions about his security clearance. His investors are demanding explanations. That's unfortunate. Marina loaded her suitcase into her Lexus, the car we'd bought together, but that she'd driven exclusively for 3 years. Sam, this isn't how I wanted things to end. How did you want them to end? I wanted you to understand. Understand what? That I needed more than this. More than this house, this town, this life. You needed more. So you decided to take everything I had. I didn't see it that way. How did you see it? I saw it as starting over. Building something better with someone else's money. With our money. We're married. We're married. Past tense. Marina got into her car and rolled down the window. I'll contest the divorce. Fight for my share of the house. Go ahead. My lawyers are ready. You think you've won? But this isn't over. Yes, it is. Marina drove away, and I watched her Lexus disappear around the corner. After 8 years of marriage, she was gone in less than an hour. I spent the weekend cleaning house, literally and figuratively. I changed the locks, updated the security system, removed Marina's belongings from every room. By Sunday evening, it looked like she'd never lived here. Monday morning, I returned to the Henderson job site for the first time in a week. My crew was waiting with questions about where I'd been, whether everything was okay, if they still had work. Everything's fine, I told them. Personal situation resolved itself. Eddie pulled me aside during lunch break. How you holding up? Better than expected. No regrets about the party? None. What about Marina? What about her? You really think she deserves what happened? I thought about Marina's text messages, her plans to steal my house, her casual cruelty toward me and our marriage. She deserves exactly what she got. And Trevor's getting what he deserves too. Over the next few weeks, I watched Trevor's business empire collapse through local news reports and social media. Military contracts canceled, corporate clients terminating relationships, investors withdrawing funding. Within a month, Sloan Security Solutions filed for bankruptcy. Trevor himself disappeared from public view entirely. His penthouse went on the market. His Tesla was repossessed. According to Eddie's nephew, Tyler, who tracked these things for entertainment, Trevor had fled to Florida with whatever assets he could liquidate. Marina tried calling several times, but I never answered. She sent emails that I deleted without reading. She even showed up at the house once, but I didn't answer the door. 3 months later, I received divorce papers in the mail. Marina was requesting spousal support, half the house value, and a portion of my retirement savings. My lawyer laughed when he read her demands. "She has no grounds for any of this," he said. "Adultery, financial fraud, abandonment of the marital home. She'd be lucky to walk away with her personal belongings. What should I offer? Nothing. Let her fight for scraps if she wants to." The divorce was finalized 6 months later. Marina received no spousal support, no claim on the house, no portion of my retirement. The judge awarded her the Lexus and her personal effects. I kept everything else. A year after Marina left, I was working on a custom kitchen renovation when my phone rang. Unknown number, but I answered anyway. "Sam, it's Bree. Bree, Marina's former friend, the one whose relationship I destroyed with strategic social media posts." "What do you want, Bree?" "I wanted to apologize for everything. The things we said about you, the way we treated you." "Apology noted. I know you probably hate us, but I thought you should know Marina's having a difficult time." "That's unfortunate. She had the baby, a boy. Trevor's not involved at all." "Not my concern. She's working at a call center now, lost her apartment last month. And I thought maybe you'd want to know in case you were interested in helping." I almost laughed. Helping the woman who tried to steal my house and destroy my life. She made mistakes. She made choices. Now she's living with the consequences. "Sam, she's struggling, really struggling. Good. That's harsh. That's reality. Marina wanted a different life, and now she has one. What if she wanted to apologize? Would you listen? No. What if she wanted to explain? There's nothing to explain. Marina showed me exactly who she was. I believed her." Bree was quiet for a moment. "You really don't feel anything for her?" "After 8 years of marriage, I feel sorry for the man I used to be. The one who trusted her completely and believed her lies. But not for Marina. Marina made her choice when she decided to betray everything we built together. She wanted Trevor's world more than mine. Now she can figure out how to survive without either. That's cold, Sam. That's honest. Something Marina never tried." Bree hung up without saying goodbye. I went back to work on the kitchen renovation, installing custom cabinets for a young couple who reminded me of Marina and myself 8 years ago. They were excited about their future, planning renovations and talking about children. I hoped they'd be smarter than I was. That evening, I sat on my deck and looked at the house I'd built and almost lost. Every board, every nail, every detail had my fingerprints on it. Marina had tried to steal it, use it, destroy it. She'd failed. I'd won something more valuable than revenge. I'd won my life back. 6 months later, I received a text from an unknown number. "Sam, this is Marina. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need help. Please." I deleted the message without responding. 2 weeks after that, another message. "I made terrible mistakes. I'm sorry. If you ever want to talk, I'm ready to listen." Deleted. A month later, Our son looks like you. I know he's not yours, but sometimes I wonder what our children would have looked like. Deleted. Marina kept trying to contact me for almost a year. Texts, emails, phone calls, letters delivered to my house. Each message more desperate than the last, each apology more elaborate. I never responded to any of them. On the 2-year anniversary of Marina leaving, I received a final message. I understand now. You're never going to forgive me. I destroyed everything good in my life because I thought I deserved better. I was wrong. I hope you find happiness, Sam. You deserve it more than anyone. I read that message twice, then deleted it like all the others. But I didn't delete the memory of reading it. 3 years after Marina left, I was finishing work on a major commercial project when Eddie showed up at the job site with the news. Saw Marina yesterday, he said. Where grocery store? She was working there, stocking shelves. Good for her. She looked rough, Sam. Really rough. That's what happens when you destroy your own life. She asked about you. What did you tell her? That you were doing well, happy, successful. All true. She cried when I said that. Not my problem. Eddie studied my face. Now you really don't care what happens to her. I care that she gets exactly what she deserves. Nothing more, nothing less. And what does she deserve? To live with the consequences of her choices, just like everyone else. Even after 3 years, especially after 3 years. Marina had 3 years to rebuild her life. If she's stocking shelves in a grocery store, that's because of decisions she made. What if she's learned her lesson? Good for her. Learning lessons doesn't erase consequences. Eddie nodded slowly. You've gotten hard, Sam. I've gotten realistic. What's the difference? Hard people enjoy other people's suffering. Realistic people just don't feel responsible for fixing it. That night, I sat in my basement with a beer and thought about Eddie's words. Had I gotten hard, or had I just stopped being naive? Marina had taught me that people are capable of incredible cruelty toward those who love them most. That trust, once broken, can never be fully repaired. That forgiveness is a gift some people don't deserve. I'd learned those lessons the hard way. Now I lived by them. 5 years after Marina left, I met someone new. Sarah was a teacher, divorced with 1 teenage daughter. She'd been betrayed too. Understood the scars that kind of experience leaves. We took things slowly. No rushing into commitment. No grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Just 2 people who'd learned to be careful with their hearts. Do you ever think about your ex-wife? Sarah asked one evening as we sat on my deck. Sometimes. Do you miss her? I miss who I thought she was. I don't miss who she actually turned out to be. That's a wise distinction. Wisdom earned through suffering. Do you think you'll ever forgive her? I considered the question carefully. Forgiveness isn't about her anymore. It's about me. And I've already forgiven myself for trusting someone who didn't deserve it. But not her. Marina's forgiveness is between her and whatever higher power she believes in. My job is to live my life without letting her choices continue to hurt me. And have you succeeded? I looked around at my house. My life, the woman sitting beside me who understood the value of honesty and loyalty. Yeah, I said. I think I have. 7 years after Marina left, I married Sarah in my backyard. Small ceremony, close friends, no drama. The opposite of everything my first marriage had been. During the reception, Eddie pulled me aside. You happy, Sam? Happier than I ever thought possible. No regrets about Marina, about how things ended? None. Really, Eddie, Marina got exactly what she wanted, a different life. The fact that it didn't turn out how she expected isn't my fault or my responsibility. And if she showed up today, asked for another chance, I'd tell her she made her choice 7 years ago, and now I've made mine. Cold, honest. Had he clinked his beer against mine, here's to honesty then. To honesty. 10 years after Marina left, I received a wedding invitation in the mail. Marina Patterson was marrying someone named Michael Thompson at a small church outside town. I almost threw the invitation away. Then curiosity got the better of me. I called Eddie. Did you know Marina was getting remarried? Heard rumors? You going to the wedding? Hell no. But I'm curious about the guy stupid enough to marry her. Eddie's nephew Tyler found some information. Michael Thompson works at the electric company. Divorced, 2 kids. Seems like a decent guy. Poor bastard. Maybe she's changed. Maybe pigs can fly. People do change, Sam. Some people, not Marina. How can you be so sure? Because changing requires taking responsibility for your actions. Marina spent 10 years blaming everyone else for her problems. I never responded to the wedding invitation, never found out if Marina actually got married or if Michael Thompson figured out who he was dealing with before it was too late. I didn't care either way. 12 years after Marina left, Sarah and I were having dinner when she brought up a newspaper article she'd seen. Remember your ex-wife, Marina? There was something in the local section about her. What kind of something? Arrested for embezzling from her employer. Apparently, she was skimming from customer payments at some insurance office. How much? $30,000 over 2 years. I wasn't surprised. Marina had always believed she deserved more than she had, always looked for shortcuts to get it. What happened to her husband? Michael divorced. According to the article, he discovered the embezzlement and reported it himself. Smart man. You don't seem shocked. I'm not. Marina never learned that stealing from people has consequences. She just got better at hiding it. Do you feel sorry for her? I feel sorry for Michael and his kids. They trusted someone who didn't deserve it. But not for Marina. Marina's 45 years old. She's had plenty of time to figure out that dishonesty destroys everything it touches. If she hasn't learned that lesson by now, she never will. That's harsh. That's realistic. 15 years after Marina left, I got a phone call that changed everything. Sam, it's Bree. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I thought you should know. Marina died yesterday. I sat down in my kitchen chair. How? Car accident. She was driving drunk, hit a tree on Route 9. Anyone else hurt? Number just her. I was quiet for a long moment, processing the information. Sam, you still there? Yeah, I'm here. I thought you'd want to know. I know you two had history. Thanks for telling me. Are you okay? I'm fine. The funeral's Thursday, if you want to come. I won't be there. She never got over you, Sam. Even after all these years, that was her choice. She talked about you sometimes. Wondered if you ever thought about her. I tried not to. She said you were the best man she ever knew. Said she was too stupid to appreciate you when she had you. She was right about being too stupid to appreciate what she had, but not about you being the best man she ever knew. That's not for me to judge. Bree was quiet for a moment. I guess that's it then. Marina's story's over. It was over 15 years ago. Everything after that was just consequences playing out. That's a cold way to look at it. That's an honest way to look at it. After Bree hung up, I sat in my kitchen and thought about Marina for the first time in years. Not the woman who'd betrayed me, but the young woman I'd married 18 years ago. the one who'd laughed at my jokes and called me her handsome caveman. That woman had died long before the car accident. She died the moment Marina decided that betrayal was easier than honesty, that stealing was easier than earning, that destroying was easier than building. I grieved for that woman, but not for the one who died on Route 9. Sarah found me sitting at the kitchen table an hour later. Everything okay? Marina died. Sarah sat down beside me. I'm sorry. Are you? I'm sorry that someone you once loved came to such a sad end. It wasn't sad. It was inevitable. How so? Marina spent the last 15 years of her life running from the consequences of her choices. Eventually, you can't run anymore. Do you regret how things ended between you? I regret that it took me so long to see who she really was. But I don't regret protecting myself once I figured it out. No second thoughts about not forgiving her. None. Even now that she's gone, especially now. Marina's dead. But the lessons she taught me are still alive. Trust is earned. Loyalty matters. Actions have consequences. Some people will destroy everything good in their lives because they think they deserve better. And some people will build something beautiful from the wreckage. I looked around at our kitchen, our life, the 15 years of happiness I'd built after Marina left. Yeah, I said. Some people will. That night, I stood on my deck and looked at the house I'd almost lost 18 years ago. Every board, every nail, every detail still had my fingerprints on it. Marina had tried to steal it, use it, destroy it. She'd failed. I'd built something better than revenge. I'd built a life worth protecting.